sitting here with a shopping cart full of Shopkins. Hey everybody, it's Mommy, and welcome back to another edition of Mommy Says. Last week, Mike had some really good advice about, let me turn off my phone, about choosing toys, and I'm going to talk about that in the coming weeks as we start getting towards the holiday season, but I am preparing for a talk I'm giving at an industry panel at StreamCon this coming Friday. October 30th, and the talk it's geared towards advertisers and brands, and it's about the power of family video on YouTube, because I'm sort of an expert or something, whatever. So I've been doing a lot of research around kids and viewership, and one of the things that I've come to learn is that we all know that kids are watching a lot of YouTube, obviously. But what comes up is that they're watching it on mobile. So they're using tablets and mobile phones predominantly, more so than a desktop or, like a smart TV to consume this. Now, I would like to believe that most of this is happening while parents are trying to keep their kids quiet at the dinner table at a restaurant. And so I'm not even sure I would like to believe that. Here's why. So I'm all about interacting with the family, because you see, I have a tween now, and as much as we have worked very hard to interact with Gracie and play with Gracie, and I'm involved in all her fandoms, and I read the same books and I watch the same videos, so I know what's going on in her world so that we can communicate. Even still, she's hit that tween age where I'm sorry, the cat is playing with a pair of doll sunglasses and he distracted me. She's at that tween age where, she wants to be alone in her room and door closed, and then I'm like, why do you need the door closed? But I do remember that phase of wanting that privacy when I was 12 and 13 years old. What does that have to do with the title of this? What are we talking about? So one of the things I realized is that I thought back to, what did we do as kids? And what did we do with Gracie when she was a child around times like trying to keep them busy in the restaurant while you're waiting for the food, or, you're pushing them in the stroller while you're shopping, and we didn't have a tablet or a mobile phone to say, here, just watch some videos, right? What did we do? Well, restaurants that have kids menus usually give out crayons, and there's crayons, and then there's search a word, and when we'd been to that place so many times that she knew all the stuff, we'd play hangman. We would draw funny pictures on the little placemat. We would engage with her. We wouldn't just give her a mobile device of some kind and then let her, while we had adult time. We had adult time when we went out alone. So, and as when we were kids, they didn't even have the cool menus that you could do stuff on. I had brothers. I was gonna say I had brothers and sisters. No, I didn't. I had brothers. And we used to keep each other occupied by picking on each other, but we used to keep each other occupied. And so I'm worried as I'm looking at all of this data around these tablet and mobile views that make up the majority of family video viewing. I'm worried that there's two things going on. One is that parents are not finding ways to interact with their children when they're waiting online in the supermarket, or when they're out shopping, or when they're waiting for the food to come at dinner. I'm worried that the electronic babysitter is now ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It used to be the electronic babysitter was only in our house, in our living room, right? I grew up in the 70s, and that's, when they started to coin that term, the electronic babysitter. That was the television. Put your kids in front of the TV, and, they'll watch TV forever, and you won't have to worry about them, which was pretty much true. But when we went out places, I'm playing with shop kids while I'm talking to you. While we went out places, there was no television, so we had to do stuff ourselves. When we went on long trips in the car, we played car games. We used to play Spud, which was, if you saw a VW Beetle, you would yell Spud. We used to play the out-of-state license plate game. We also used to play these really abusive games where we used to hit each other. We used to have a deck of cards, and we used to do this thing where we would bang the deck of cards on our knuckles. I don't remember what the rules of that were, but I do remember we'd have bloody knuckles. So that probably wasn't good. But we didn't have a DS. We didn't have a mobile phone. When I got a little older, I remember we had a transistor radio that had the one earphone thing. And then when I got a little bit older, I did have a Walkman, which was helpful, because when you were in the car with my parents, you were listening to their music, which of course is totally different. Luckily Gracie and I like a lot of the same music, but she does rule the radio, especially now that she's in the front seat. She can change the channel. So I'm worried that we're not having as much interaction with our kids because of the tablets. Like, I know now, like when Gracie and I go out to lunch together, we both have our phones, and we're both, on our Instagrams and Twitters and stuff. And sometimes I look at us when there's long periods of time where we're not talking to each other when we're doing that, and I think, this is really messed up. So I'll strike up a conversation, or ask her, what are you looking at on Instagram? And, what she likes to stalk hashtags, what hashtag you stalk, and what's going on, anything funny, and try to engage with her on what she's doing on the tablet. So the first reason that toddlers with tablets scares me is because I think we're maybe taking away some opportunities to interact with children, and we might be teaching them that, and especially because we all have our own device addictions, that it is okay to sit around the living room and all of us be on our devices and not be talking to each other. So that's one of the reasons it scares me. So you do with that information what you will, and maybe look around your house and maybe question how quickly do you want to hand the phone over to your toddler or your little kid, or do you want to try to engage them in a game of some kind to pass the time and to bond, and also control. We used to do, Hangman is a learning game, Gracie used to love it when we would Gracie learned to read because I learned to read very early. I think it's genetic, but we also spent, and I still have a lot of these notebooks, we just used to sit there, and we used to do this on the placemats too, and we would write words, 3-letter words on the placemat, and the game was, learning how to read the word. And so, we did stuff like that with her. Now, the second reason that toddlers with tablets scares me also occurred to me, not so much when I was doing this research, but because of an article I just saw that, and I don't remember where I saw it, but there was a photographer who posted a whole series of photos of people with their mobile devices, but he photoshopped out their mobile devices. So it was kind of like what we look like. And there were pictures of families where they're all sitting around a table like this, except there's nothing, the mobile device isn't in their hands, so they're just like this. And there was this very zoned out quality to everybody's faces while they were, because you go into your device, you're like focused on it. So, and there were pictures of toddlers, with the tablet. And that's what scared me. That one really, really scared me, because we let Gracie watch tons of TV. Okay, when I was a kid, there was no limit to how much TV that I could watch. So, the three of us turned out to be really smart and capable and really smart. So I just kind of went with that. And when Gracie was a baby, we watched a lot of Baby Einstein, and it was educational. It was all educational TV, but I never But the reason I was okay with that was because Gracie never just sat in front of the TV. Gracie always did other things. So the TV would be on, but she'd be playing with a toy. Or the TV would be on and she'd be drawing. Or the TV would be on and she'd be coloring. Or the TV would be on and we'd be playing with each other. And what scares me is about tablets and toddlers is that in the picture, I saw this, although it was a tablet. Quick, can you guess what the problem is? The hands. If a toddler is holding a tablet, if they're sitting on the floor or sitting on the couch or sitting in a stroller or sitting in the restaurant, holding a tablet in their hands, they're not doing anything else. They're not doing anything else with their hands. They're not interacting with the world outside the tablet. And that terrifies me. I'm not terrified of a child who sits in front of Nick Jr. all day long on the television while they run around the house and play pretend and talk to Dora on the TV and play with their shopping cart and dress up and do all that stuff. That doesn't scare me at all. I think that's awesome. I think their brain is doing a million different things and it's all good. And their hands are doing things with their hands. What terrifies me is the idea of a child sitting on the floor or on the couch or in the chair in the restaurant with their hands holding a device so they are not doing anything else with their hands. That terrifies me. Does that terrify you? Let's talk about that in the comments down below because I'm worried about that. I think my first piece of advice is to get a kickstand for your tablet. Don't let your child hold the tablet all the time. Maybe teach them how to prop it up on something so that they can see, I have a little, this is an iRing and so I can use it as like a kickstand for my phone. So I can just sort of prop up my phone, see, so I can watch and do other things because I don't like to hold a device while I'm using it. Like if I'm watching a video, I want my hands, or if I'm reading, I like to, I like to multitask. So being able to read and do something else with my hands at the same time is like really cool for me. And the idea that kids are not learning to multitask is freaking me out. So please comment down below. Am I crazy? Do you think this is a problem? How can we handle this toddlers and tablets situation? Because it scares me more than toddlers and tiaras, honestly. It really does. So that's my mommy says for this week. Let's talk about it in the comments. And Mike will be back with you next week with some Mike Says. Until then, thank you to the Toy Insider for giving us this little corner of your YouTube channel. Please make sure that you subscribe to the Toy Insider YouTube channel right here because there's lots of fun stuff going on with toys. Also, make sure you check out thetoyinsider.com, especially at this time of year. Their holiday gift guides. It's the 10th annual. This is the 10th year of the Toy Insider holiday gift guides. Those have been released. You've got your Tech 12, you've got your Hot 20, and you've got your STEM 10. And these guides will help you to know what toys are hot for this year, what you need to get the jump on and get now before it sells out. And they're broken up not by gender. Thank you, Toy Insider. But they are broken up by age group. So if you're not sure, is this kind of right for my kid? It'll give you sort of a framework to see if this is a good match for your child. So thank you again so much, Toy Insider. Thank you to all of you for watching, and I will see you again in 2 weeks. Love you. Bye.